Recording has started. All right, I think we should start. We should kick it off. There'll be people. There was an amount of about 200 odd people who replied, who accepted. So we'll see, right, if that happens. So I think what we're going to have is a lot of people joining intermittently, and if you can do us all a favor, please go on mute once you've joined. So I'll start then, I'll kick it off. So good morning, everybody. So my name is Peter Burnett. I'm the sales director with Mushroom Solutions, and I'm based in the San Jose here in California. I'm also the host of today's meeting, which of course is titled Unlocking the Power of Generative AI. I'll kick us off with a welcome and then a brief introduction to today's presenters. I'll then talk through the next slide, which is the agenda for today. So with that said, welcome everyone. It's really great and appreciate you all joining. Sincerely hope that you'll find it informative, interesting, and most importantly, that you'll find it valuable after we've left the presentation today. So on the call with me is Srinivas Komalapati. Srinivas is our CEO, also based in San Jose in California. And then also on the line, we have Srinivasa Varaparla. Srinivasa is based in Minneapolis, and he's our Chief Operating Officer, COO. And then we have a couple of other people from Mushroom that are also on the call. So it's great to meet everyone today. So let me go to the next slide, please, Trini, which is the agenda slide. Let's go up to that. Sorry, I'm just getting my system up and running. So we're gonna kick this off slightly differently today. So we're actually going to start with a case study for the pharmaceutical industry, and then I'll follow that up later, talking about other parts of the agenda for today. So there it is, the case study demo. Then we'll talk about generative AI, the market trends, industry-specific use cases, which I will also present. And then I'll toggle back to Srini, and Srini will talk about the enabling enterprise and adoption, starting off, of course, up there with the reference architecture, then going through the agenda from there. And then we'll switch back and do some more live demos. And I will then follow that up with just an overview of Mushroom Solutions, very high-level overview, just to let you know a little bit more about the company behind today's meetup. And the agenda really is to be as interactive as possible. So please feel free to jump in with questions, comments, whenever you want. We'll try and accommodate all of that. And if you want, you can also submit your questions in the chat if you're shy and don't want to jump online and express your opinions or needs. So with that said, let me go ahead and hand it over to Srini.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Srini.
Thank you, Peter. So greetings, everyone. I'm Srinivas Komalapati, the CEO for Mushroom Solutions. Today, I'm honored with this kind of large group to discuss the facilitation of enterprise adoption of Gen AI technologies to unlock the potential. So we'll be starting with a demo. Initially, we want to run through a couple of slides, then get into the demo, but we think like it's better to show and then tell, like in terms of how you can adopt Gen AI technologies within a typical enterprise. So with that, we will start off with a tool that Mushroom Solutions have, which we call it as DocuGenX tool. So this is a tool that enables a templatized content generation and data extraction, along with the provision to choose different types of machine learning models. Like it could be OpenAI based model, or it could be some of the open source models like Little Llama, Fluenty5, and several other models. So this tool integrates all such models, and the user can choose depending on the commerciality. They can choose whichever model that they want, and then provides a human in the loop concept where users can review and approve the content or the data that is extracted from this particular tool. So we'll start off with this demonstration and then get more details into the approach and the architecture, then into more demos and all that. So as I mentioned, so the templatized solution is something where every user can log in and then they can create a workspace for themselves and then create a template of set of questions or set of content that they want to generate or they want to extract from the underlying data sources. So here what you see is where we are creating uh, templates to generate pre-screening questionnaires for a pharmaceutical clinical trials operations automation. So here the user can log in, they can provide, typically in a pharmaceutical organization, for you to participate in a clinical trial, you need to fill up certain questionnaire to see first if you are eligible or not. So what we are providing here is an option where the users can create such kind of questionnaires and then publish into their websites. And as you can see, there are some settings in the tool that allows you to choose different types of models. Like here, we are showing like Digital Bird or Transformer QA, Fluenty5, or things like Little Llama. So these are different types of open source tools that are integrated in addition to the standard GPT-4 such models that are already integrated into this tool. And the user can also configure things like the temperature of the temperature in terms of what is the randomization in terms of the answers that the generative AI models are generating. So here, once the user provides the inclusion exclusion criteria, which is on the right side as part of the PDF, the system automatically generates based on the prompt provided. It generates a questionnaire. As you can see, this particular questionnaire includes, this is all generated by the system. So there is no human involved. So all the human did was just providing the data set. And based on that, the questionnaire is generated and then also provides options in terms of what is the correct answer that the user can choose so that they can be found eligible for that particular.
Srinivas, sorry to interrupt you. It looks like there's some questions regarding people are seeing a static screen. So are you sharing the screen? What we're seeing right now is 5 different demos showing up on the screen. Is that what?
So this is, can you see my screen?
We see the screen, but it's 6 web pages. That's static.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after that, I clicked on this mushroom content creation generation. Do you see something called as Welcome to Mushroom Solutions DocuGenX?
No.
It only shows the showcase at the very top.
Yeah.
And 6 slides.
Yeah. 6 slides.
Present one more time. Can you guys see this screen now?
Yeah. Now I think if you expand it.
Can you see this?
Yeah, it's
try to go to presentation mode.
Yeah.
Peter, do you see Welcome to Mushroom Solutions DocuGenX?
Yeah, yes, but we're seeing it in we're not seeing it in presentation mode. So we're seeing the whole thing. We're seeing other slides below that, the next slide coming up. Yeah.
1 second. Sorry. So
there should be an icon, Srinivas, that says presentation mode when you were just showing last. Just go back to the last thing. There's an icon that says presentation mode.
Yeah.
Can you guys see it now?
No, same showcase slide.
Yeah, showcase slide. Is it working now? Can you see the content generation?
Yes.
Now we can see it. Yeah.
I can
Yes.
see it. Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, cool. So let me start over again. So this is the tool that I was talking about that allows you to create templatized data extraction mechanisms or content generation mechanisms, and allows you to configure various types of Gen AI models, and then allows the user to have a human in the loop concept to review and approve the content. So the first one that we are showcasing here, as I mentioned, this is for a pharmaceutical organization that we did, is to generate questionnaires to pre-screen the candidates for the eligibility checks. So the first step is to create the template and then define what kind of data that you want to generate or the data that you want to extract from the underlying documents. So in this case, we're defining various data elements. So once the data elements are defined and then the appropriate prompts are provided. So as you can see in the previous screen, like the system also allows you to add data, not only the through the URL and uploading files and other things. You can also configure email as a data source, FTP also as another data source, and then provides you mechanism to configure different types of settings, be it the temperature of the generation or the various prompts, or choosing different types of models, be it say digital BERT or transformer QA or Flan T5 or Little Llama. So these are some of the open source models that we have already integrated as part of this tool. So depending upon the model that you prefer, you can choose accordingly. And in the case of OpenAI, you can also provide your OpenAI key. And once you are done with that, the system will go about displaying the content on one side. If you have multiple documents, we display multiple documents. If it is a single document, we display that on one side. And on the left-hand side, you would see the answers that are generated. So in this case, based on the inclusion and exclusion criteria provided, we are generating a questionnaire that can be used to pre-screen the participants for a particular clinical trial. So the system also generates, the correct answers that internally that we can use. So we have another tool called pre-screener tool that takes this particular questionnaire and then provides a kind of questionnaire interface for the users to do the pre-screening. So once we are able to generate the content, so in this case, we are generating the questionnaire. Once the questionnaire is generated, so there is an option where you can submit this for review and approval process. So where the users can request for their supervisor to approve the content. So once it is submitted, you can check for the status. So it's all driven by the status in terms of who has reviewed and approved. And as an approver, you can sign in and then open up the same request that was submitted for you for review. And you can click on this review button. It will show the same content that was generated by the first person. And you can edit, modify however you want to do it. And finally, you can approve it. And once it is approved, this particular information will be available for you to download, or in some cases, we have done explicit integrations to push this data into downstream systems. So in this case, the pre-screener application. So you can download this. We provide different interfaces in terms of how you can download. So in this case, we're downloading into an Excel file. I will go back to this demo again once we cover through some of the fundamental information about Gen AI. But this tool, sorry, I think it went back. You clicked on somewhere. So once you are able to download the questions and answers, so you can continue with that. You will get an Excel sheet. You'll be able to see all the questionnaires that are generated. And likewise, not only generating the questionnaire, the tool is flexible enough where you can create multiple types of outputs that you want to generate. So in this case, you want to generate the layman text for a particular protocol study. So a study protocol is nothing but a clinical trial in pharma terms. So for a given protocol, so you want to generate a particular layman text that the users can understand in plain English. So this particular um, um, output that you see. So based on this, we are asking the system to generate the layman text for trial summary. And this is what the system has generated as the summary based on the IE criteria that is provided. And the same tool, like in not only generating the data in the form of English, we can also do language translations. User can select the language, like in this case, we're translating into Spanish, and the tool does the translation also. So what we are showcasing here is a tool that allows you to create various types of templates in terms of what kind of content that you want to generate, have a mechanism to choose different types of models that you want to use, and also configure different settings like the temperature, and also provide a human in the loop concept where somebody can review and approve the content that is generated. So this is an application of GenAI in one of the scenario. We do have several other use cases like, how do we process documents from email? How do we generate, say, test cases like, software engineering artifacts? It could be design documents, it could be test cases, test plans, all such kind of things. And also, how do we extract data from specific forms? Also generate the test data. So we use a different technique here, GANs, for generating the test data, maintaining the relationships, and also building conversational interfaces, just like what we have on our website. If you go to mushroom.solutions, we have a chatbot that is built by using GenAI technologies, and also, of course, Rasa, another open source platform. But this is something that using our chatbot framework, we're able to build it like probably in a couple of hours and then plug it into our website. So such kind of power is there with these GenAI technologies. We'll go through these demos as we progress towards the rest of the meeting. I will pause here and then get in and then want to present you what is the market opportunity around the Gen AI, and then some of the use cases where you can apply. Then we'll get into the actual how we adopt Gen AI technologies in a typical enterprise, and what are the challenges with that, and then we talk about some of the reference architectures. So with that, I'll pause here and then Peter.
Yeah, Peter,
Yes, Srini,
before
there's-
you start, Srinivas, there seems to be a person have a question. Deepak, do you want to take it now? Or
yeah, so very nice demo, Srinivas. What is, maybe this question is probably for Peter. This is the same type of problem we have, is what is the business value of this? Because it's usually going to be a subject matter expert. It's going to dictate whatever the, the pre-screening criteria. It's not going to be what's in a bunch of documents. And then, so in this case here, is this a real product? Can you set the context maybe? Is this a real product, and what is the business value of this? Because it seems like if this is going to be used by some less qualified people, they're not going to know what temperature is. They're not going to know what API key is. So can you explain about the business value of this, or is this just an example? Is this a real product?
So yeah, so I think Deepak, I believe. So Deepak, yeah, this is a real product. So what we call it as DocuGen X. So we are trying to, like part of the demo, we're trying to showcase the settings that are a little bit technical in the nature, like maybe not many business people know what is a temperature means, but those settings can be predefined and can be applied universally within an organization. The questionnaire generation part, if you see a typical pharmaceutical organization, they have multiple clinical trials, and if you look at most of their trials, they don't have a trial-based questionnaires. They have typically disease-based questionnaires to pre-screen the candidates, but specific to a trial, whether a particular candidate is suitable for the trial, there are very few companies who are doing that. So this one takes the IE criteria, that is inclusion and exclusion criteria for every trial within their systems, and auto generates this questionnaire. So you don't need to have a human to be involved in generating the questionnaire. So once the questionnaire is generated, there will be a review and approval process within the business so that they can then look at, okay, what is the content that is generated, and maybe in different languages as well. The same questionnaire, we may have to render it in multiple languages. So the business can review and approve. Once it is reviewed and approved, then it goes into the final pre-screening application that we have it as a separate application. So that the business value is automation. So automation and reducing the time to craft the questionnaire by hand, rather having the system to generate the questionnaire automatically and then have the users to review and approve it. So we're reducing a lot of cycle time here by having the system do the grunt work where the humans only review and approve the content. So that is the business value, and it saves lots of time, especially when the same trial is offered in say 30 different languages. When you want to provide layman text information about that particular trial, you want to generate questionnaire. So this whole process is totally automated using the tool like this. And there are integrations that you can also do, like specifically in some cases, the same tool allows you to expose things as a REST API interface. So you can also integrate and generate the same questionnaires through API also. So maybe I answered your question. Let me know.
Yeah, I think so. So basically, the subject matter expert, he'll just say, give it to the developers. Developers can use this tool. They can generate everything, and it saves a lot of time for the subject matter expert, I guess.
Yeah. So we'll showcase the architecture in terms of understanding various roles involved in this kind of tool. So we just showcased it as one user or multiple users logging in. But once you look at the architecture diagram, you'll understand, which we'll present after a few slides.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, Srini, Deepak, when I get to the market trend analysis slide, which is 2 away from now, it'll become evident, I hope, in terms of where the executives see where AI is going, where Gen AI is going, where the whole automation process is moving to, and just by the percentages that will show on the slide, to show where people actually are at this point in time, as defined by Gartner, it'll increase the value of the solution to the executives, to the guys in the boardroom, and then it'll filter down. It'll be seen as a general. Here's the general solution. Here's what we need to do, and this is what it'll buy us at the end of the day. So I think that's just to add to what Srini has just said. So I think also, just as we all know, so Gen AI is certainly poised to revolutionize various industries by unlocking all of this automated creativity and efficiency. The technology certainly leverages advanced machine learning models, helps to generate content such as text, images, audio, video, all of that with remarkable precision and novelty, which also helps as the business case. And then I honestly believe this slide is probably one of the most important slides we are showing today, because it gives you a view of the state of Gen AI, where it is today, certainly based on as I said earlier, on Gartner's reports. It's being discussed in boardrooms of enterprises. Now is the time to take action and to ensure we have a well-documented strategy. And I think that strategy is very important, because it helps showcase, it helps you, the business, understand what the actual business problems are. What are we trying to solve for? So not just solve for what's relatively straightforward from a technology standpoint, but what's actually going to benefit the organization. So as you can see on the slide here, so the CAGR, or the cumulative aggregate growth rate, was almost 25% from 2023 to 2030. So this indicates a tremendous surge, really, in the Gen AI market, which is anticipated to reach 207 billion from by 2030. So that's up by, wow, what's it, 44.8 million since that was the evaluation in 2023. And also I'm hoping what you can see from the graph is that Gen AI is at the peak of expectations, which essentially means that we have between, what's it, 2 to 5 years to take advantage of this technology. And if we don't do that now, if we don't jump on that journey now, we'll probably end up missing the bus and may lose our competitive advantage out there. So just to go with the statistics, which you can see is that 58% are currently experimenting with AI. 63% of the boardroom, the CEOs and execs, are actually discussing it. And some are taking this as their top priority. And many of those people are now seeing positive benefits versus the risks that are out there or was out there in the beginning. So it's really time to embrace and productize the technology so we can stay competitive. You know, the other piece I think I can just add here is key trends driving this growth, of course, is the increased data availability. You know, one of the pivotal drivers propelling the growth of AI is all this unprecedented availability of diverse data sheets and vast data sheets. So the abundance of all of this data fuels the training and enhancements of AI models, enabling more accurate predictions, sophisticated creations, and of course, novel applications. The other one is of course, the advancement in computing hardware. GPUs has been around for a while. We certainly know that. Talk about AI chips. Significant development there, I think, is the release of Intel's AI PC towards the end of last year. You know, and one of the other things is just the general growing awareness of all the benefits across industries is becoming people are acknowledging that and the transformative potential of Gen AI is optimizing processes, driving innovation, and enhancing value. So I think in conclusion on this slide, Gen AI is certainly a game changer, as we all probably know on the call, across various verticals from content generation, from content creation to healthcare, in finance, in arts, in manufacturing, and its ability to automate and create these tasks. So embracing Gen AI will certainly enable organizations to stay ahead of the curve and help the development thereof. So I think that is it on that slide. Unless there are any questions, Srini, we can move on to some industry-specific use cases. There we go. So Gen AI is poised to revolutionize various industries by, as I'm repeating myself, but by unlocking the power of automation and creativity and efficiency. So let me move on to the next slide, please, Srini. Is the industry solutions and use cases with Gen AI. So there's several use cases that we can apply Gen AI to across the industries. So for example, in healthcare, we can use it for generating questionnaires for eligibility checks, to pre-screen participants for clinical trial recruitment, and also for use cases like medical imaging. AI can generate synthetic medical images, which will augment the limited data sets for training diagnostic and research models. And then in the case of clinical assistance, we use it to process clinical notes, to extract meaningful patient data that of course can be taken advantage of by the physicians and everyone who's actually engaged with patients all the time. And in banking and financial services, it can be used in used to process financial documents and several other use cases actually. And in retail, it can help to generate marketing content, product documentation, and all of that. So the use cases are many that this technology can be applied to. Certainly it transcends or across industries, also including energy, manufacturing, and others. So so we'll take a lot closer look at this as we move forward. So with that, I think I can hand it back to Srini, who'll talk about the enabling enterprise adoption. Thanks, Srini. Srini, I think you're on mute.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah.
No worries.
So thank you, Peter. So in the rest of the slides, we'll cover through some of the reference architectures that we have used specifically for the tool that we have showcased at the beginning. And then we get into a little more deeper into what is GenAI for those people who has a little familiarity around GenAI and the technology landscape in terms of how this evolution has been going since at least last 5 years. And what is our approach in terms of enabling this enterprise adoption? And we'll go through more demos and further questions based on that. So this is one reference architecture that we would like to present here. As you can see on the top, there are different types of user personas. Like, you have prompt authors who can, so nowadays it's all prompt engineering, specifically around GenAI. So there will be somebody, like as you have seen, somebody defining the template with the appropriate prompt. So those are the prompt authors. And then the people, and specifically it's important because the reason why we need to have these different personas and have role-based access control is because in a typical enterprise, the information dissemination requires certain gate checks before people can actually play with the proprietary data that a particular organization has. So and then they don't want to abuse any kind of models, like be it GPT models or non-GPT models. So they want to have limited control around what users can do and what kind of information that they can surface based on that, and how the information can go into the next level. So that is the reason we have this kind of tool that have this role-based access. So where somebody can define the prompt and somebody can generate the content or should extract the required data, and somebody can approve that, and somebody can map this content like to pass it on to the downstream system. Somebody should be able to click a button to pass it on to, in the previous example, to a pre-screening application. And then finally, this information will be showcased to the users and the participants. So that is the reason we need to have a system that is role-based. And the second one is to have, of course, appropriate authentication and authorization. And following to that, the tool has two components. So one is the DocuGenX tool that we showcased to you. So where the user can create the template and then based on the criteria, so we are able to generate the content or extract the data, and then goes through the content approval process. Then the GenAI consuming applications should be able to, either retrieve this information as needed, or should have another mapping application to publish this content or render this content, and then provide analytics around the consumption behavior. So this is a typical high-level architecture that we are presenting here. And the tool that you have seen here in the past, so this is something completely open source based solution. Apart from the OpenAI key, but if you use, say, Little Llama, then you don't need to provide any specific keys. But it is built predominantly using Python, and based on Ubuntu is the operating system, and we use web servers like Apache and Postgres as a database. And this is containerized, so that means you can deploy it either on a single VM or on your server, or you can also deploy it in a Kubernetes cluster if you want to scale up to the needs. So this is one type of a solution. And likewise, if you are looking to extract data from, say, emails, so we have another module where we do process documents that are coming in through emails or documents that are coming in through FTP or other sources. So typically the use case around the email document data extraction. So this is one of the demo that we will also showcase to you. So typically people will be sending emails to a common mailbox. And from there onwards, what our tool does is it actually reads through those emails, including the subject, body, and the attachments, and classifies those documents, classifies those attachments, and then provide a template-driven data extraction mechanism. So that is what you'll be seeing, or you have seen part of it already, and then provide various interfaces in terms of this this application. Like, it provides interfaces like you can use REST API, or as soon as we extract the data, we'll be able to trigger a webhook so that the consuming application can seamlessly obtain the data, or we provide different kind of export mechanisms. You can do the dumps from in terms of CSVs, or you can also query it from the database. So, but essentially the underlying concept is similar. So, but what we are doing is we are providing additional mechanisms to connect various different sources. So in this case, email is one of the source. Likewise, tomorrow it could be documents coming into your system, which you want to process it dynamically using the REST API, which you can do. So this is at a high level, the similar architecture, similar technologies. It's still Python based. And we use different other techniques, like some of the OCR techniques. And specifically with GPT-4, we don't really need to use much of the Tesseract kind of tools, but still we employ them in certain cases. So this is at a high level about the email document data extraction to understand how a solution like this is typically implemented. With that, let's dive into GenAI, the game changer. So this is to give a little more information to the audience who is not that much familiar with the GenAI. So GenAI, in my opinion, is not just artificial intelligence. It's actually artificial creativity, autonomously creating diverse content. So as you can see, from text generation to data extraction to conversational interfaces, image synthesis, audio generation, creative content creation. So it is a powerhouse of possibilities. In short, GenAI transforms industries, has been transforming industries. It doesn't typically follow instructions. Of course it does, but it can also create those instructions for you. And so let's get ready for the future of creativity and innovation. Let's also explore the power of this transformative power of GenAI and its impact on enterprises. So as I mentioned, GenAI is just not a tool, it's a creative partner. So that's how we are treating. It amplifies the human creativity by inspiring new ideas, assisting in the creative process, expanding the realm of possibilities. In a typical business world, as you guys know, so time is money. So GenAI shines by automating content creation, saving valuable time and resources compared to manual methods. So, and GenAI is not just a follower, it is a leader in the innovation at this moment. And enterprises gain competitive edge by leveraging it for its unique features, and providing personalized customer experiences and innovative solutions. So in essence, GenAI is a transformative force reshaping how we approach creativity, efficiency, and competition. So it is a collaborator that sparks ideas, the efficiency booster that saves the resources, and the innovation engine for the enterprises. So with that, may your creativity be amplified, your efficiency be heightened, and your competitive advantage be secured through these incredible possibilities that GenAI unfolds to us. This is the technology landscape at a very high level. So the GenAI has undergone remarkable evaluation, starting from the traditional RNN type of models to all the way now to the GPT type of models. At the forefront, there are leaders like GPT setting benchmarks for large language models. These leaders, whether commercial or open source, have redefined what is possible in the natural language understanding and generation. And some of the giants in the industry are driving innovation at a global scale, showcasing the immense potential of AI and applications. On the open source front, as you can see in this particular slide, there are gems like Little Llama and Flan, And these platforms democratize the access to advanced tools, empowering developers and researchers to contribute to the growth of AI. So that's on the open source front. And as we journey deeper, we encounter vector databases like, Pinecone is one. We heavily use Pinecone, but there are so many open source vector databases that play a crucial role in storing the custom embeddings, enabling development of highly customizable models tailored to specific needs. So these vector databases brings in lots of values to build such kind of customized models. And beyond the language, just not the large language models, its power extends to image and audio generation. Models like DALL-E, OpenAI's work on audio generation showcase diverse applications in AI and creative content generation. So for those to seek to retrain their large language models, there are open source data sets like Red Pajama, Common Crawl. These platforms allow you to build custom building blocks for refining and enhancing the AI models with the data set that you would typically find within the GPT models that are based on these kind of open source data sets. So in this dynamic landscape, the power to shape the future of AI is within our grasp, especially with the availability of data sets, with the availability of open source models. I think this journey promises, huge innovation and discovery, and I think everybody is learning and also applying. In our case, as Mushroom Solutions, we're trying to apply it for various business use cases. Technology is not the limiting factor. The models are not the limiting factor, but it's a matter of how do you package it, how do you make it enterprisely scalable across enterprise. That is very important, especially in applying any of these technologies. So our journey for adoption, typical enterprise adoption, begins by acknowledging challenges and embracing a holistic approach. Success relies not just in addressing those challenges, but our commitment to adopt continuously. So we have challenges from ethics in ensuring the fairness, equity, and transparency, and all the way to, say, regulatory compliances, data quality, security, accountability, trust. So I won't go through all the challenges, but you will see how the suggested approach, that we have it in the next slide, considers them all for a successful adoption of this technology. So these are some of the challenges that are typically being vocalized by large CIOs, large company CIOs and CTOs. And these are some of the things that everybody has to consider when they are adopting or embracing this kind of technology, at least from the enterprise standpoint of view. So let's dive into how we do the enterprise adoption. So it's a journey that's not just about adopting technology, it's about unleashing the innovation. So adoption starts by identifying the use case first, So, and then the next is having a comprehensive training and making every user as a hero because of this technology that can be your innovation partner, And another critical in the adoption is in the human in the loop integration. So as you have seen, somebody to generate the content, somebody to review, somebody to approve. So that kind of human in the loop allows you to, build such kind of harmony. So where the need for having workflows where human expertise and AI can work together seamlessly, enabling symphony of efficiency, And collaborative development is where the magic happens. Data scientists, domain experts, end users are working like a dream team. So that and taking the user feedback continuously is the way that you can improve continuously. Customization is very important. As I mentioned, some of the vector databases and all that comes into play there. So, and we have to craft customized models with the precision, aligning them perfectly with your business needs. So, and content generation and data extraction are not just wild processes, so they need to be structured and there should be a structured creativity. So that is where we need to have a template-driven content generation and data extraction mechanism. So this is the typical approach that we follow, and the same approach is employed in the tools that we're building, or the tools that we're building in the future as well. And ethics is very important. We don't want to have biases. We don't want to, we want to have something. Every AI model should be explainable by itself. So that ethics comes into picture a lot. And data governance and security. We are not just managing data. We are the guardians of the data, especially in the Gen AI world. So we need to implement robust governance and security mechanisms. And system integration is not a puzzle. It's a seamless fusion. We need to have Gen AI to become an integral part of our workflows. So that is where the tools like what Mushroom is doing or other companies are doing are going to help in this journey. And review approval process is very important. These are not the roadblocks. They are the strategic green lights. So we need every step to be aligned with our organizational goals. And having a continuous monitoring and improvement is very essential. And monitoring is not just observation, it's a real-time evaluation. So we need commitment to continuous monitoring and improvement, specifically for any kind of taking the user feedback, like specifically when somebody corrects answers that the system has produced. So we should be able to take that feedback and then improve the model continuously. And regulatory compliance, like be it GDPR or HIPAA, there are different challenges with each one of those regulations. And what are the different measures that we should be taking to be compliant to those regulations? So we need to align our journey with the data protection regulations and ethical guidelines. And another important factor that we have to consider in the adoption strategy is the right resource allocation. So it is allocation is not about distribution of resources. It is about strategic deployment. We need to have our resources strategically positioned so that we can have the maximum impact. Of course, having a proper scalability planning is important to be future ready for the growth. And we need to have solutions that can scale up to your user needs and business needs. Followed by, of course, user acceptance testing, which is very essential and have to establish that trust, and having enabling right feedback mechanisms, to a commitment to listen and evolve our Gen AI journey, and having the right performance metrics, which are the strategic indicators to evaluate and communicate the impact of Gen AI on the business outcomes. And finally, last but not the least, is documentation. It's not just a paperwork. It is the transparency chronicle for us, right? So we need to keep stakeholders informed about the status and performance of these Gen AI implementations. So in conclusion, our approach is not about adopting Gen AI. It is about shaping the future where innovation, collaboration, and ethical considerations converge for scalable success. So that is the typical approach that we are suggesting to any enterprise. With that, I'll pause for any questions, or else I can go into a few more demos. I think we only have 12 more minutes left. I'll take probably 2 minutes, 3 minutes to cover through some of the, show you a few more demos so that you understand the grand picture. Then we can answer any specific questions.
I have a question on the LLM's capability, right? It's still in the infancy from what I see. It's not dealing with the high risk use cases. So in this case, you used content generation, which is much more reliable, and it can provide you the right results. What is your experience, and how did the LLM's hallucinations and everything reset your expectations, and you had to redefine all that stuff? So I just wanted to get your experience there.
So the hallucinations part, I think if I understand your questions correctly, so that is where we have, I'm not sure if you have seen the previous demo. So we have some settings like temperature and all those. So that will control the hallucinations part. So specifically, if you can set the temperature to 0, then pretty much you will get results in a consistent fashion. But if you want the model to explore and then be a little more innovative and creative, then you can set it to, let's say, 0.2 or 0.3 or 0.5. So then it will give you different results. So how much you want to control, I think some of those settings would help. And in terms of, I probably didn't get the question in terms of the adoption of LLMs. We are seeing lots of interest, lots of adoption, lots of application of GenAI in several use cases. People may not be explicitly expressing it, but we have been seeing, and we typically we are nowadays, majority of the scenarios, LLMs, GANs, these are some of the things that we employ very frequently. In the past, there used to be more traditional deep learning models, like LSTMs and those kind of models. But LLMs have picked up a lot, and specifically with the GPT 3.5 and GPT 4, plus tools like Little Llama, and these are giving very good results in terms of, or at least meeting the expectations of the users. I don't know if I answered your question properly.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to use GPT-4, and I was shocked to see it forgot a lot of context, and so I was going through a lot of those. So I want to get your experience, and I want to compare my experience with yours. So
yeah, one of the things that we, if you're getting different results every time, as I mentioned, have you tried with the temperature thing?
Not yet. I'm going to play with it. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's very good presentation. Thank you so much for that.
So this is another use case that we want to showcase, is about document processing. Email document processing. So where we read emails from a given mailbox, and then we read the subject body content, the attachments, and then classify the information. Let me forward it a little bit. So as you can see, I don't know how much you can see properly here. So this is a form called Form 1572. So we category name is Form 1572. So we use the tool to categorize the documents, and then also produce the information as you see on the left hand side. Things like the compound name, what is the compound name that they're talking about, what is the research facility, what is the clinical laboratory facility, what is the study conducted by the investigation. So this is all the information buried either in the email subject or in the body or even within the attachments. So we use the same DocuGenX tool. We have kind of customized it a little bit to be more oriented towards this particular use case. But that is the power of this DocuGenX tool. So it can either generate you the content like as you have seen in the beginning, or it can also extract the data as you want from these kind of unstructured contents. So that's one example. And you have seen and this is another demo that probably I would like to briefly talk about is test data generation. Here we don't use the GPT type, so we use GANs in this case. So here, this is for a typical Salesforce CPQ implementation where you have multiple products and multiple catalogs and multiple quotations that get generated for a particular CPQ. So, and a company who has say 20,000 products, for them to synthetically or even to test out their CPQ implementation properly, so they need to have data around these 20,000 products with the different permutations and combinations so that they can create such kind of course and check whether the system is scalable enough to meet to their customer demands, right? So this is where we use a tool like what we have is a synthetic data generation tool. So you can provide the initial sample data in terms of the codes or the line items and other things. And once you do that, the system automatically goes about generating the entire set of rows. Like you just need to give say 10 or 20 or 100 rows, as input. And then once you do that, then the system automatically generates, you want 10,000 rows of data. It automatically generates by maintaining the relationships. That's very important. It's not just about generating the data, but it's also maintaining a quote linked to the product or quote linked to the product line items. So enabling that linking and then producing the data using the generative AI techniques. So of course the algorithms are different, but the way that we're applying this is different in different situations. Content creation, content generation is one type. Data generation is another type for structured data. And similarly for extraction, data extraction, that's another type. So the tools that we are building are all around applying this GenAI technology to serve various different types of use cases. That's one. And this is another example of enabling GenAI to do conversational interfaces. So we have a chatbot on our website. If you go to www.mushroom.solutions, as you see here, so we have a chatbot that is built on GenAI technologies. So that's GenAI plus Rasa. So that particular chatbot, even on our website, or even what you see here is, so once you provide the content, so here in this particular demo, we are showcasing some breast cancer or some disease related documents. And then once you map those documents to your tool, then the system automatically, be able to answer the questions. For example, do you think having red color rashes on my back is related to cholera? So it just goes beyond the traditional information extraction to reasoning. So it does the reasoning and also produces the lineage of information in terms of where from this information is extracted, from which document or which source. So we can, like in our website, you don't see the sources, but what we are focusing is building such kind of frameworks that allows anybody, like if there is a customer of ours who wants to build a chatbot to address so their clinical trial operation, to have a bot that addresses it, we can go about mining their whole website with one simple. All they need to provide is their URL, and we go about mining all the say 15,000 pages from their website, and then create this customized GPT model that will answer specific to their question to their users. So it's been working very nicely. The chatbot framework that we're employing in multiple places, not only to our customers, we are also using it internally. Our website has a bot like this that answers any kind of questions that you guys have around Mushroom Solutions. So with that, I will pause on these demos.
I think Srini, sorry to interrupt, but we almost at the top of the hour. So however we want to proceed is up to, I guess, the audience or us. And I can just jump in and talk about Mushroom Solutions if we want to go there now.
Yeah, so Mushroom Solutions as a company is focused on like three things: automation, IoT, and AR and VR. So and we have several accelerators that we bring to the table to fast track the use case realization. We have very good talent on the AI ML side, automation side, IoT. We have all of these things are our proprietary accelerators and solutions. So we apply them for different use cases, different scenarios. So if you guys have any needs around any kind of these three areas, any automating any manual or semi-manual operations, any Internet of Things, any kind of mobile application development, we do have frameworks, not only doing the traditional iOS, Android native engineering applications, we can also do all the way up to AR and VR. Please, if you are interested to explore more about GenAI, we can do individual workshops with you guys. And if you want us to do a proof of concept, we can do it at our cost if you have a specific use case. And if you want access to our tool, please reach out to us. We'll provide access to that as well. With that, thank you very much. I think we are on time. I don't know if we have enough time to go through the questions. Yeah, let's see if we have questions.
Yeah, I'm good to stay on, depending on the audience. Thank you, Srini. And as you show the current slide that we're showing, those are some good reasons to embark on the general AI journey with Mushroom Solutions.
Any feedback, any questions, comments, guys?
Yeah, very good. Peter, I linked in with you. I also worked at Sun Microsystems in the past.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I noticed your LinkedIn with Scott. Great man, great man. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you.
Showing my Java mug, if you can see it.
That was the greatest company ever. Yes. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Srinivas, I have a quick question. Typically, whenever we kind of have conversation around building your data model, and especially like training your LLMs, there's a lot of questions around like how do you have access to the right set of data, which they feed into kind of educate your LLM model, and then again, like depending on the use cases, you leverage that. But how do you solve for the data problem when specifically, let's say, you have cornered use cases, or even like I think one of the example which I heard during your presentation was around healthcare. And if you really wanted to kind of train your LLM on healthcare data, which is one of the most restricted set of data set, like how do you solve for some of those problems?
We just custom train based on the specific data that that particular customer has, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So the technical approach is custom embeddings, as I mentioned, like, so with the data set that is specific to a particular organization or for a particular business. So your data is unique for you. And what we do is we build a custom GPT model specific based on that particular data set alone, you know. And that information, we don't need fancy processing power for that, unless you want to rebuild the entire GPT model from the scratch. That requires a little more computing power. But if you have any kind of data set, whether the data could be in the form of your website or your internal repositories, all that information, or even the PDF documents, so we'll be able to build a custom model with the custom embeddings. So that will answer specific questions around your data set alone. I don't see that as, you know, building specific to a particular, like even healthcare, unless it is you don't want to share that information with others. So that is reason we need to have that limited access to that particular model, so that only the users who are authorized can access that particular model. So it is not about training the model, building the model. That is easy peasy. We can do that quickly. But making sure that you don't compromise on the security side, you don't compromise on the you don't want to make that public, you know, because it's your proprietary information. You want to keep it in house. Just like, for example, of course, like you go to our Mushroom Solutions website, the chatbot that is built on the data that is there in that particular website, you know. So it's anyway public, so we are okay to share it, but we are not going to share our internal SharePoint information within that, right? So you have to build such customized models based on the specific data sets that you want to have the Gen AI capabilities on, you know. So I think that's the way. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
I have a question.
Hi, Debbie. Go ahead.
Thanks. I'm in education, and so I don't know all of the applications of AI currently in place, but I have a question for as basically, maybe you has your company done specifications for education or no? That you know of?
We work with some research organizations, nations who get lots of research articles and publishing the content around the, of course, all the latest and greatest things. And yeah, something like that. We have some exposure towards it. Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah. You know, chat GPT is definitely being used in education, and I'm a little bit, there's some questions about authenticity of who's writing the work for students to turn that work in to be graded, right? So so that's just something that I'm exploring, and I'm curious how they're I don't know if you heard about the Stanford president, I think, or chancellor. Did you hear about that? She was accused of plagiarism.
No, I'm not aware. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
Well, she quit. So, that's just a news flash. But for me, I'm concerned about students. I guess it's being taught in schools. What is your original work and how to use Chat GPT as a resource for you. So that's just something I'm exploring. So, but you said on your company that you can. This is something you could do free of charge, or some. I'm sorry, I came in late. So what are you offering for free of charge?
If you have a use case, we can showcase the results that you want. Like, so if you have your own data, your own documents, and we can build a kind of we can either build multiple ways. Like one is a conversational interface, or we can build a content generation platform or a data extraction platform at no charge for you. And if you like it, then we can go to the next level.
Okay, yeah, because I'm interested in education and AI, and so I'm sorry, artificial intelligence, right? That is AI. Okay, I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm interested in that, and then I may be involved in creating my own, producing something original, and so of my own. And so, could you help me do something like that?
Yes, certainly.
And then,
yeah.
Oh, excellent. You're a great resource then. And then I just had another question about mushrooms. So where did you come up with your topic? I mean, your title of your company?
It's a good question.
So as you've seen the slide we presented about mushroom solutions. So we have several accelerators. So we think a mushroom is a bunch, and also mushroom also represents enlightenment in one scenario, and also traditionally I have some yoga related concepts talking around mushrooms. So it's all a mixture, but
I have
the reason
a new one for it. The mycelium of mushrooms are they're using it, I think, in instead of plastics for packaging and things like that. I'm not sure which companies are doing that, but that is a solution against using petroleum or other damaging chemicals for our planet. Anyway.
But the reason why we named mushroom is because we have a bunch of solutions, and we think that mushroom, for some reason, we thought mushroom is more suitable, as we have several solutions.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, I know I'm at the end of your talk, so I was curious, Peter, are you in charge of these weekly things, or?
I'm the host of for our meetup groups. Yes, so I've set up this one. There's another one coming up on IoT. I think that's on about the 7th of February, which is another one we've set up, and we're trying to get into a rhythm or a cadence, Debbie, to get these sessions out there. And looking
topic. How do you find out the topics you're going to present? Because I'm interested in education. So, do you know that you're going to do one specifically for that anytime, or you'd have to look it up?
Yeah, we'd have to just take a look into that and see how much we can generate in that, how much content we can generate, and discussion points we can open up on, and then certainly look into that. So far we haven't really concentrated on industries or verticals, other than of course talking about healthcare and some manufacturing, but we haven't categorized it as such.
Okay, well, that's the next big boom. Okay, I'm telling you. All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you, and have a good afternoon.
Sure.
You too, Debbie. Thanks. Srini, I think we can't see how many more people are still on, but I think we come to the end here.
Sure. And Debbie, if you are still there, there are several.
I'm still.
Okay, yeah, still there. Yeah, so specifically for education, I personally try to build several things technically.
Oh,
and
yeah?
I find lots of information that is there within the GPT models. They are not caught up to the latest information, right? So always it's a challenge to see how I can actually use ChatGPT to support me to do what I want to do. I'll just give you an example. I'll share another screen of mine.
Oh, great.
So that you understand what I'm trying to say. Well, just let me share my screen for a minute. So if you see this, there is something called as, I also do some animations, iClone, Python API. So there is a software called iClone. They have a tool and it's $1,000 tool, right? So they have this API, but there is not enough documentation about it. It's
Yes,
very hard.
Still, we are not able to see your screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're not seeing it. Did you say iClone? iClone?
Yeah. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, I can.
Yes.
Okay. So, and this is very rudimentary information, not a very detailed information. Okay, it's there on their website, but there is not much help or not much information. It's all buried into these links. Okay.
Okay.
And for me to make I can generate code for lots of other technologies or lots of other use cases, but for me to generate code on top of their specific API, it's hard for me, because there's not much help around it or the latest models. Even if you ask ChatGPT, it doesn't give me any right code. If I put it, lots of compilation errors. So what we have done is we used our chatbot framework. So this is something like this. So what we have done is we have taken all that information from their website and built a GPT model on top of it. And now I can ask a question like, they create a code to move an avatar with animation clips. So it does the code, and this code works. This is what I'm using for me to do some content creation, for personal use. But that is the power of Gen AI, and we have automated all of it in the sense like if I quickly want to build a model that can help people to do better in their education or whatever it is. This is a learning process, because for me, rather than going through every API to see what it is and all that, rather than me, I just feed everything to ChatGPT and I give my requirement so that it generates me the code for you. So that's the power of, that's how we are using it internally and also personally in some cases. I just stop there with that. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of other companies that are, on the forefront of this. And so that's why it makes it kind of confusing and, where to insert your interests and things like that. But I did apply for something that's called Women in Education. Women in Education, I would be part of a cohort of people that are trying to, and you'd have to produce your own, do your own research and produce something. So that's why I'm interested in what you can help me with.
Sure.
So that's just where I started to get interested in this, as aside from the application in education, more like, where I could get involved in being trained, maybe, because I'm not a technology person, I'm an education person. So that's all. So if I get the cohort, then I'm going to call you up, okay? And I'm going to say, hey, I need some help with this, all right? You're going to be my best friend. And then you and I, and well, you can be in it too, Peter. We're all going to like make revolutionary history. Okay,
there you go.
Okay, I'm getting a little pie in this. Anyways, I definitely appreciate what that example you showed me. How do you say your name? Srinivas?
Srinivas. Yeah, Srinivas.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense to me, and I'd like to know more. I'd like to communicate more about that with you. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, and you're on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll message you.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Have a good afternoon.
Nice meeting you. Yeah.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye. Looks like we still have 20 people. So I don't know if anyone else has any questions. Srini, what's your timeline look like? Are you still okay?
I'm okay. If anybody has questions, we can answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a question from Mike. Is looking for a seminar on conversational AI. So there are a couple of ways we could do that. So Mike, if you could reach out to us, maybe we can have one-on-one conversation, or if you want us to come up with a seminar, that's something we need to discuss internally and come up with a plan for that. Mike, are you still there?
Sure.
Yeah,
He said we can reach one on. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, any other questions at this time?
Again, excellent. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Okay, yes, thank you all.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, everybody. Much appreciated. Watch the space for future presentations, future discussions. Thank you.